put Liz over there.
Just shove Liz over in the corner.
Okay, I'm just testing to see if that's better for the echo. No.
You may see Marge come on because she's home already.
Oh,
And she had a very good morning, and she went out to lunch even.
oh, good.
So, are we up or no?
I think I just need, if Amber is back there,
She is.
can you tell me if I'm echoing?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
How do I stop it?
How do I stop it, stop it, stop it?
Mute you? It says I'm muted.
Lorelei is muted.
Testing. Ah,
There.
the keyboard mute button does not work.
Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 3:02 on March 13th, 2023. And we will have to do a roll call because Lorelei is on Zoom. And maybe Marge will be too, we'll see. And we have to abide by the open meeting law.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, everyone's here except David and Marge. And I will be acting as chair in Marge's place today. Just as an update for everybody, she's doing very well. Does anybody have any announcements?
Yeah, I do. Two, actually. Still, we have been blessed with a woman from Stowe who comes almost weekly with 10 and 11 bags of groceries.
Wow.
For the little pantry, and so we've been able to keep the pantry really stocked well. So I encourage people to come and use it if you need it. Remember that it's not to do your weekly grocery shopping, but to just get you through whatever you need to get through. But we have been very blessed by this woman. And then another thing, a few years ago before the pandemic, at the Baptist church, we had a memory cafe, and we closed down when the pandemic hit, and we're going to try to start, begin again in April. So our first day will be April 22nd. It's a Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's for a safe and comfortable place for folks who have memory issues and their caretakers. And, you know, we have a lot of fun. We do some arts and crafts. We have lots of music, exercising, chair exercising, and so, and of course, food. You can't go to a Baptist church without eating. So, so there'll be food and just lots of fun and friendship.
That's good to see that that's coming back.
Yes.
How long is it? Is it an hour or 2 hours?
10 to 12, but
Okay.
some people, they can leave whenever they have to,
I was
you
just
know.
curious.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I have two announcements too.
Okay. Yeah.
One is just for general information out there for people who might be interested in the Hager Homestead Senior Co-housing. I have nothing to do with them. I don't get any money for saying this. I'm just passing on information. They will be having a information session Sunday, this coming Sunday, March 19th, from 6 to 7 at night. It's a Zoom meeting, and you can register to get the Zoom link at Hager Homestead, all one word, .org. So that's one announcement. And the other one, again, this popped up in one of my newsletters. Emerson Wellness is having a lecture, it's not a course, it's a one-time thing, on living and moving with osteoporosis, and that will be on April 12th from 10 to 11, again, an online one. And they're going to be stressing ways to avoid injury from falls with strength and balance exercises. And you can sign up at the emersonwellness.org/classes. I was amazed when I went to look at this, because it popped up in a newsletter, how many classes, health and wellness classes, Emerson has.
They do, they have a lot.
Not just seniors,
No,
but
they do a lot.
for all ages, and it was huge.
Yeah.
So, many are free, some are, if it's like an 8-week program, it may have a charge, but a lot of even those had one free session to see if you liked it. Many online, many at their, as they called it, their studio. But yeah, I was amazed how many were there. But anyway, those are my 2 announcements.
Is that something we might want to put in the broadcaster for April? Or is that already gone?
I don't know if it would fit, to be honest. We have so
Because
much.
you've got everything else in there.
Yeah. But I can check it out. See if it'll squeeze in.
There's so many things that the broadcaster can't.
Can't put it all in, no. She's too busy, her and her team. It's got too much going on.
Right, yeah.
You're going to have another whole page to the broadcaster.
I know.
Has to be 4s, right? Has to be 4s.
Has to be what?
4
Oh, yeah.
pages.
Well, we're,
You can't
At
do
12.
1, it has to be 4.
Why is that?
Because of the way they fold it and
Because
the way
of
they
the
print it
fold.
on the page.
You know how.
Oh,
it's
the
2
way it's folded,
pages,
yeah,
So
right.
it has to be 4.
Right.
Oh.
You can't do 6.
Nope.
we have 12 pages at the current time.
Okay.
I have an announcement if anyone.
Okay, that's good. We'd love to hear it.
I received a phone call this morning from a junior student at Littleton High School named Lisa Hood, and she's doing an AP US History project for her final end-of-year project for the class. And she is looking to interview some seniors who were teenagers in the 1960s.
50s.
So if you
Must
were
be Joe.
between the ages of 13 and 18 in the 1960s and would like to take 45 minutes to an hour of your time to talk about activism in the 60s, rock and roll, and the Vietnam War, please let me know and I will put you in contact with Lisa Hood.
That's a cool project.
Isn't that? Yeah.
13, what were the ages?
Between
You
13
qualify.
and
No, 13 to 18 in the 60s.
in the 60s. And she prefers if you were in Littleton or local to Littleton during that time.
That's put me on.
Okay, oh, I know somebody who, that
That
fits
throws me right
perfectly.
out.
I fit during that time.
Oh, yeah? Would you like to?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and Joe has stories to tell.
We'll give her a list of names.
I was at MIT with the protesters during that time.
You're too young.
I wasn't a teenager in the 60s.
Joe's got all kinds of stories to tell.
Yeah, I won't mention Ann Lee.
At least you won't mention her by name. Sometimes it's not good to be brought up in town.
In town and in the same class in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Was Charlie in the same class?
No, he was a couple years under.
That's cool.
That's my announcement.
Are there any other announcements?
I have one quick one.
Oh, good.
It has to do with the food bank too, but Loaves and Fishes, so everyone knows Loaves and Fishes does service Littleton, and they are open on the first Tuesday of every month from 4 to 7, and Wednesday and Friday from 10 to 1, and every third Saturday from 9 to 12. And if you're not a current client, all you have to do is give them a call ahead of time. They don't ask any income, any questions like that. They just want to know who you are and make sure that you're from town, so.
Do you have to have a picture ID to go there?
I don't believe so.
No.
As long as you call ahead of time, they know you're coming.
Okay.
If you have mobility issues or you cannot get there,
The lady back there.
Alicia will hand deliver.
Yeah, she'll hand deliver like she does. Yeah.
I think that is the absolute best way for Alicia to get herself immersed in town and meet the people and the clients is doing the food pantry, checking out Loaves and Fishes, and then going around with the van and meeting all of these people. I just think that's one of the best ways to immerse yourself in it.
And what did you do? Delivered 90 meals?
Bags.
Bags, 90 bags.
Yes. Every other week.
Good for you.
Fantastic.
Keep those muscles.
It's a good workout.
Okay, did everybody get to see the minutes? And does anybody want to change anything, or,
Yeah, I have one correction.
okay,
I'm down as being present. I was absent.
you were absent. Oh dear.
Even in the votes, I'm there as voting. So.
You voted for everything and you weren't even here. Yeah, probably need to fix that.
Okay.
Did you get that, Lorelei?
Yes, I apologize. I made a template, so it probably just cut
Oh, it
over.
just came up.
I will fix that and recirculate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there are no other changes, I'll accept a motion with the corrections.
I'll move to accept the minutes as corrected.
Second?
All those in favor?
Roll call. You have to do
I'm
it.
looking over there.
Jean?
Jean.
Yes.
I'm like, I know that woman.
Yes.
She's usually over there.
I know, she screwed me all up
Dave
by
was
moving
usually
over there.
there, right? He saved you a seat.
Well, she was over there when she was on the personnel board.
Oh.
Yes, good memory.
Okay, Jean,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Annalee,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Joe,
Abstain.
and Anita. Okay, yes. And Lorelei,
Yes.
okay.
Oh, she's so loud.
The vote,
Recognize her without a headpiece.
oh, she's got a headpiece like you wouldn't believe. She's got a whole dinosaur she can come out with. And I guess, Sandra, that puts you up.
Okay. I'm gonna do it right this month.
You're gonna do it right, okay.
The Friends had their monthly meeting on Wednesday, and we voted to host the ladies' and men's breakfast starting in April every month. And also, we're updating our webpage, which is off the town webpage, and we're also going to create an independent webpage. In the broadcaster last month, we were looking for a volunteer, or volunteers. We had one set up, and he didn't follow through. Now I'm under pressure because I wrote a broadcast article boasting about our website. So I'm going to be meeting with Tiger Tech really soon. So we have that going on. Plus, we're doing a study on the last few years on the appeal letter and what worked and what didn't. So that'll be going out really soon. And behind the scenes, we're already working on what we're going to do for the business appeal letter. There's a lot to be done for that, a lot of prep work. So that's what we're working on right now.
Okay, and how many new members have you gotten? You said you had members.
New members, yes, we have 4 new members.
Oh, wow,
So
that's
we have
very
a
good.
great new board, it's very exciting. I'm meeting with just them this week to give them all the information they need. The mission statement, the bylaws, catch them up with what's going on in the past few months. So it's exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're
That
gonna have
is.
committees, for
Oh.
fundraising, that doesn't mean that everybody has to approach businesses, but there's a lot of other things they can do. And I was talking with one of the new members about having a forum to get input from people that aren't on the board about fundraising,
Mhm.
more successful,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, because fundraising is important, and
It's
it
a
seems
big-
like
it's
you're
a lot
headed in
of-
the right direction.
Yeah, it's a big job.
It is a big
We
job.
can get a lot of information from people outside of the board, certainly.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you got a good grip on it.
yeah, we have everything under control.
Very good.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you for that report. And the director's report.
I'm wondering if we might want to skip forward to CPC since all of my staff isn't here yet.
Oh, all right,
If
sure.
that's okay with the board.
No, CPC is good. We've invited a member from the CPC to come and give us a presentation today, because there has been talk with the selectmen have been talking about possibly raising the percentage of the CPC from 1% to either 2 or 3%, which would show up on your tax bill. And it was thought that possibly it would be a good idea to let the seniors know what the ramification would be on their tax bills where they have a fixed income, if it went up 2% or if it went up 3%. And I know there is, that you can explain, there's money that you can get refunded or abated or something that I totally didn't understand, I'm sorry, at the meeting. But maybe you could come up front and tell us who you are and give us a presentation, and then we can ask questions.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bartlett Harvey. I'm a member of the Community Preservation Committee, have been for a while. I would like, I guess, I think you all have this sheet. I would like to sort of go through that
Yeah.
and explain it. So on the left column, there's a list of percentiles. It's which they're talking about the assessed value of houses in Littleton, and the expensive houses are about $1.5 million, and the cheapest houses are about $160,000. So there's a factor of almost 10 there between the expensive houses and the cheapest houses. So then I want to go next to the two columns to the right of the heavy line in the middle, the actual tax rate. That is a number that's set every year by the select board. Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a number that they make that's based on what they think the tax revenues and the budget and all that stuff are going to be, and what the public will accept. So you'll notice that that's 1.625% for every house. So it's this one rate, and that's the real estate tax that we all pay. Now, if we go back to the left side, well, no, let's go back to the next column to the left, the actual real estate tax. So that's the 1.625% of the assessed value of the house. So that refers back to the first column with numbers in it, the assessed value. So I think that sort of gets us located in the chart. I'm going to go through horizontally on one of the lines. I'm going to just, for an example, pick the median house in Littleton, which means that there's an equal number of houses that are more expensive and less expensive. So that comes very close to $500,000. And you can see that the actual real estate tax is a little over $8,100. So if we go back to the third column, the real estate tax with exemption, that's what the CPA tax, the surcharge is based on. And that is the assessed value of the house minus $100,000. So if you look at that, you can see that $100,000 makes a really big difference at the bottom row here, and it makes hardly any difference in the top row. I mean, 22,000 to 23,000 is a very small drop, but, or a gain. $960 to $2,500 is a much bigger. So the increase, the 1% surcharge varies a lot. It's only $10 for the very lowest houses, and it's $220, and for the median, it's $65. So that's added to the actual real estate tax. So the total tax with the 1% surcharge is the third column from the heading line. Does that make sense? That the surcharge is 1% of this assessed value, which is not it's a modified assessed value.
Right.
Okay, so we can now go to the tax rate with the 1%. So the basic tax rate is the 1.625, and the tax with the 1% goes at the top of the page to 1.64. So there's a increase of a couple tenths of a percent. And down at the bottom of the page, it's 1.63, so it's a much smaller increase, but it is still an increase. And on the median, it's 1.64%. So you're paying 1.64 instead of 1.25 because of the CPC surtax. Now, if we go to the 3% surcharge, which is the next column over, that's going to be 3 times the number that's in the 1% column. So for the median house, the 1% is 65. And the total tax is 8169. With the 3%, it goes to 194 instead of 65. So the total is now 8,298. And the tax rate jumps from 1.64 to 1.66. So, I mean, that's 0.02%. It's not a big increase. I mean, it is, in percentage terms, it's not a big increase. So the tax increase is 0.03%. So what the Community Preservation Committee is saying is that we think that the CPC does a lot of good work, and that we're asking for a quite small increase in the tax, which would have quite a substantial effect on the CPC's budget and our ability to buy open space and support low-income housing and recreation and historic preservation. So that's really my presentation. I don't know how familiar you are with the Community Preservation Committee. It's been around for quite a while. One of the slides that the selectmen saw was what is the CPA meant to Littleton, and since 2009, this Community Preservation Committee has purchased almost 150 acres of conservation land for $4.6 million. So, the Joyce Williams property, the Mary Brown property on Tehadawon, and a bunch of others. We've supported recreation, boardwalks in the town forests, and other places. Historic preservation, we bought the house on Robinson Road, which the town is now trying to sell, but we kept it as a historical building, and it's going to remain that way. Years ago, we bought the Long Store. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it's in a container somewhere, waiting for somebody to figure out what to do with it. But it's really old. And one of the other things that the Historic Preservation has done is restoring gravestones in the cemeteries. And every year we'll spend about $1,000 and get a bunch of gravestones restored to their original condition. I'm also in housing. I'm on the Affordable Housing Trust, and that's gotten a lot of money. We've supported some of the Pine Tree Park. We're in the process of acquiring land both at the Mary Brown site on Tehadawon and Grimes Lane, just near the station at the Durkee Farms houses. We've been working somewhat with the developers of Sal Lupoli at the Common. And we've done a lot of rental support for people that I think have been pretty successful programs. We kept people in their houses, and we did both sort of a long-term and a shorter term based on COVID, job loss, economic slowdown, which I think was pretty successful, and that has, it's still exists on paper, but we haven't had any applicants for that for quite a while, so there's nobody actually getting that, so it's, I mean, the Community Preservation Committee thinks that we're doing good work, and we would like to do more. So that's it. Are there any questions?
But I have a statement or a comment.
Yeah.
I have no doubt all the great work that's been done. I've been on the board on the select board when it first started, and it's been tremendous. But what I hear, every place I go now, and I'm not even on the board anymore, is taxes.
Yeah.
And no matter how you put it, and you have these figures that worked out, that shows us a small increase, but you are going from 1% to 3%, and that's what has a lot of people concerned.
Yeah.
And this is what I've heard, and it's hard to ever be negative about everything that committee does, but that's still a concern.
That's why we have town meeting, because we want to make our case and present it, and we think we're doing good, and the town can choose to support it or not.
To follow what Joe had to say, if I look at this chart right, if you go from 1% to 3%, there's an increase in the tax of $129
Yeah, you're on the median line?
on the median line.
Yeah.
So that would mean on, if you had a medium-sized, median house,
Mhm.
your tax bill would go up $169 just for this purpose. One of the questions I had is, and I should know this being on the Board of Assessors, but I don't, can we still apply for an abatement? It used to be you could apply for an abatement and have the CPA tax taken off the tax bill. And I'm not sure if that's still in existence.
Yes, I think it is still in
It still is.
existence.
So if you're not able to pay,
I don't have that number in front of me, but I do have I don't know what the abatement is, but I do have a chart that shows the income limits for people 60 and over to get an abatement.
when I was working in the assessor's office, if you wanted to not pay the tax, you could apply for an abatement.
Okay.
And it would be based on the income that you're giving us on chart 2,
Mhm.
and you could abate all or a portion of it. So it wouldn't,
Okay.
just so people know that option is still available, even though there would be an increase in the tax. You might be able to take some of it away.
I think that abatement program still is in place.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
put the exemption
That's the-
amounts up on
okay.
the screen.
So a two-person family would have an income limit of
Second page in here.
$112,000. That would be, if you had an income over that, then you have to pay the full
The full tax.
surcharge. If you have an income under that, you can pay
Mhm.
some of it, or,
Mhm.
do you get a full abatement? I don't know.
We used to give a full abatement if you were under.
Okay.
I think it's good that you came and explained how this all works.
I hope I didn't confuse you.
I mean, everybody in town knows what a good committee you are and all the work that you do. I don't think anybody questions any of that, everything that you've done over the years and will continue to do.
Yep.
It's just this is just something that we really needed to educate the seniors that, you know, some people, if they have $800 coming in for the month, they may not have the money to do this. And I've heard that as well as you have, that this increase.
What happened to the 2%? Because when Carolyn came to talk to the finance committee, she had a 1%, 2%, 3%. So what happened to 2%?
I think the 2% wouldn't fit on the page. So, and it left.
Because it's a little more palatable for the seniors.
It's counting on viewers to be able to do mental arithmetic and figure out what 2 times 65 is as opposed to 3 times.
But I meant you're not mentioning it.
I'm not.
And
I'm not.
2% might be more palatable.
It might very well
for the
be.
seniors.
What's pushing the Community Preservation Committee to ask for 3% is that one of the great benefits of the Community Preservation Act is that the state will, depending on its budget year, match a considerable portion of what the town raises. And all towns that are in the program, whether they're 1% or 1.5% or 3 or 2, get a match at this, you know, based on how much they contribute. And it's been 30% sometimes less than that. But I mean, you know, when you invest money and you get a 30% return after 1 year, you know, it gets your attention. So if you don't have the 3%, then you get less of a match. If you have 3%, then you get another round of matching, which is not nearly as big, but it's some more. So the 3% would maximize the state match, which would just get more money for the town.
I think that's your real selling point when it comes to town meeting is that.
That piece is,
I mean,
Right.
it's free money that,
Yeah.
that.
Right.
and I know, I was on CPC when it first came,
Mhm.
like, way back.
Yeah. And there's different ways of getting to 3%. The town can contribute money that it has sort of spare change lying around to make up the difference between the 1% and the 3%. You can't go more than 3%. But if the town contributes money, if the town was going to spend money on open space anyway, and they run it through the Community Preservation Committee, then the committee gets the match, and, you know, there's an extra 30% of whatever that was in the town. Keith Bergman was very good at getting money from
He was.
developers and from people doing construction, and he got, I think he got close to the 3% a couple of times. When, you know, Potpourri went in, he got a lot of money out of them. We haven't had an administrator that's been quite as aggressive as that since. But, you know, the planning board, as it is trying to get payments from developers, housing developments, you know, either to compensate for not having affordable units or just because of their impact on the town. And so that money that comes in from that kind of, I used to call it extortion, but it's not really extortion. That kind of money is called blended funds, and if it goes to the Community Preservation Committee, then it gets matched, and it's a big help. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much for taking the time to come in
Very
and talk to
welcome.
us.
It's important to me, and it's a pleasure to speak to you.
And I forgot about the 3%.
Thank you, Barbara.
Sure.
And Marge had said that she wasn't sure if it was necessary or whether the board should take a stand as to whether we agreed with an increase or didn't for the seniors. So today was more or less just information, and then at a future meeting, we can have a discussion, and if that is something that we want to do, we can think about it before we get to town meeting. because that won't happen till May. So, we have plenty of time to decide that.
Right, I think everyone should take some time to digest the information, go to the website, check out all the projects CPC has done, what they use the money for, all the different buckets it can be used for. Take a little bit of time with it first.
Also, maybe wait to see how the warrant comes out for town meeting as to exactly which of the percentages.
The selectmen pick. Yes.
I know, what gets picked, and then we could, discuss it and either support that article or not.
Right.
In the future,
Not now, but in the future. Okay, so now we're on to your report, Liz.
Okay. Let me pull up my information. I'll do a little share screen. I always like to start with our annual statistics, so that's where I'm going to begin. So for last month, you can see up on your chart or up on the board, it was a little bit of a quieter month for us. We had a holiday and a snow day, so the numbers are a little bit less than previous months, but not too far off from the last fiscal year. Still lots of sign-ins regardless of the snow day and the holiday, 649 for programs, and still 165 rides were given in the community. Next on my list, I wanted to discuss some really good news with the state formula grant. So the state formula grant is something that comes out of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. Every COA receives funding from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs through the formula grant. And they call it the formula grant because they take the number of seniors in town and multiply that by a dollar number. So in the past, they hadn't been using the actual number of seniors in town. They'd been using the 2010 census.
Oh, that's way
So
back.
up until last fiscal year, 2022, we had been receiving money based on the 2010 census, which was much lower than our actual number.
Right.
Great news from last year is that they scrapped the 2010 census and went with the UMass Donahue Institute estimate of the number of seniors in town. So for Littleton, we got a great bump. It was $12 per senior, and that meant that we got $33,000 for the year to spend on anything related to seniors. What we use this for is for all of our fitness and wellness program instructors. So that $33,000 pays for all the stretch and flex instructors, Tai Chi, line dancing 1, line dancing 2, a lot of the yogas, chair yoga, meditation on the beach. So all of the fitness classes, that's why we're able to keep them $3 a class, because we're subsidizing them heavily from the formula grant. MCOA, our association of senior centers, sent out a message last week that the Healy Driscoll administration put together their governor's budget proposing $14 a senior instead of $12 a senior. So we would go from $33,000 up to $38,710.
Wow.
Which would be fantastic.
Now, when does that get voted?
So that is going next to the House budget, and MCUA will put together some information how we can advocate for that increase. When I see that email come through, I'll send it to the board. They usually put together scripts for calling or letter templates for this type of advocacy. So that would be really great news if we were able to increase the amount of funding for our instructors, maybe bring in some new programs, perhaps lower the cost from $3 to no fee for a year. It's kind of wide open. It varies across the board what COAs use this money for. In the past, there used to be something called the Green Guide, and Emmett Schmarzo, the former Elder Affairs COA representative, created this, and it was very strict rules on what you can and cannot spend the money on. And the Green Guide is now gone, and Elder Affairs just says as long as it's supporting seniors in town, you can use the money for that.
That's very good.
So this is fantastic news, and I'll keep you updated on the formula grant.
Where else do we get money that we use for our programming? I mean,
So we have the operating budget from the town,
Right.
we have the formula grant money, and then strictly donations.
okay.
That's everything.
I just wanted it out there that even though we are getting an increase and it's really great,
Mhm.
we don't have a very big budget. So
No.
that any donations that we can get, it's really important to keep everything going because we're still very limited.
Yes, we're a teeny tiny slice of the pie in the overall budget picture for the entire town.
Right.
You mentioned Emmett as former,
Yes, yeah.
he retired.
He retired in 2020, 2021.
I haven't seen him in that long.
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah, Adam Frank is the new
Oh, okay, all right.
replacement.
Yeah, that was a good guy.
Great guy, really nice. Let's see, what else is on my list? Speaking of Elder Affairs, Secretary Chen from the Elder Affairs is coming to pay us a visit. The COA board is invited to join us. We'll be in the knitting room upstairs, and that is April 4th from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. And that invite is also out to the select board and town administration. And I think that is it for my report. Did Nicole have anything she wanted to share today?
Before you switch over,
Yes.
we were going to talk about the dementia
Oh, yes.
program and
Yeah.
how we can really push it. That was September.
Good for you. Yeah, sorry that slipped my mind. We put out the information for the Dementia Friends program as part of Dementia Friends USA. And I believe right now, all of our staff members have become Dementia Friends. All of our van drivers have also become Dementia Friends. And several of you at this table are Dementia Friends or even Dementia Champions. So you can, David and Jean and Alicia and myself, we're Dementia Friends Champions, so we can lead the programs. And love to do one at the library and love to do some more for staff in the town hall. So what we're doing is we're printing off the signs, the I'm a Dementia Friend signs, and we're gonna get together for a group photo. I'd love if the friends could join us as well. I'll send out the information for the training. Very short online, or you can do a 2.5-hour champion training. So we've made great progress on that, especially with the van drivers, taking the time to complete that.
That might help with your program too at
Yes.
the Baptist Church.
So you do it online, Liz?
Yep. Yep, online or in person.
Okay,
Yeah, and it's really simple. You just watch some videos
okay.
and then you answer some questions.
How do you access it?
You
I'll
just send the link.
I'll send the link, yeah.
Can you send it to me again?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yep.
please.
I hunted yesterday for about 3 hours and said, forget it.
Never hunt that long.
No.
No, pick up the phone and call me first.
No. Sue took the course and it got to the certificate and it didn't print for
And
her.
it crashed.
And it crashed, so she didn't get a
Oh, I
certificate.
didn't get my certificate.
That's
I did it.
You learn a lot just by, looking at the different videos, things that I really had no idea that had to do with dementia, or how, if you meet someone out on the street, or, how you react and what you do to help the person. And it was a very good learning device, I thought. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I'm all set.
Okay. So now it's the outreach
Assistant.
directors.
Assistant.
No, it's the assistant director. I'm sorry, I skipped right over you.
You skipped me.
I skipped you.
So I just have a few things. I just wanted to give kind of a sneak peek into what's going to be happening soon with programs. We are partnering with Park and Rec again for the Easter Bunny Breakfast. We have a few upcoming trips. We're going to Webb's Yarn Store, which
Where?
is Webb's Yarn Store.
Western part of the state.
I know where that is.
Yes, it is very popular. So we're doing that trip with a lunch that's going to be there. We're going to be going to Hammer and Stain. It's an art studio in Acton. This summer, we're going to be doing 2 trips to Tower Hill, and we're going to combine that with a bagged lunch from Gale. They have picnic tables there, so we can kind of have lunch and leisurely stroll around. Spring Fling is going to be coming back in May. We have a spaghetti supper, a Belgian waffle breakfast that we're going to be having. We were very generously donated some maple syrup from a resident in town. So we're going to be using that. We have some picnic lunches at Fay Park this summer, outdoor yoga with Jenny at Fay Park this summer, which is always very popular. The Romeo and Juliet breakfast groups are going to continue. We have an illusionist coming, belly dancing class, goat yoga, again with Park and Rec. We have quite a few musical performances. We've received 4 cultural council grants that you'll see in the newsletter which performances are funded by them. I've also been working on some increased intergenerational programming, looking to bring back Book Buddies, which was popular pre-COVID, and also with the Russell Street School working on a Walking Buddies group, which we have walking club every Wednesday morning. And this was kind of, at the very beginning, we had planned to walk with students, but we were working on getting attendance up, and then winter came, and so we waited, and now we're going to be doing that. So lots of fun things coming up.
A lot of good things coming up. And Alicia, I think you're up with the outreach.
So Amy is upstairs. Anytime we have a major weather event, we contact everyone on our list of at-risk residents, so she's upstairs calling everyone on our list. So I just want to put in a plug right now. We only know of at-risk residents if you let us know you exist, you're out there, you know of somebody. I know there's lots of people in town who could use a check-in or a phone call, but if we don't know about you, we don't know about you. So please reach out to us or let us know you have a neighbor who could use a check-in. It's always really nice to hear somebody's voice and just make sure that everyone's okay.
Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to start with some information about the SNAP, which, if I can redeem myself from my cable thinking, is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance
Sorry
Program.
about that.
I have been redeemed. Okay, so the SNAP, 3 years ago, March 2020, what feels like forever ago, there was an emergency allotment put in place for all SNAP members. So what that means was they went from their normal benefit that they were awarded based on their income and other ways that they get that benefit, and then they brought it up to the maximum benefit allowed for that household size. So everybody sort of was increased to the maximum that they could get. So back in 2020, when the emergency started, people were losing their job or, not being able to work, being sick, and everyone was sort of struggling a lot back then. So that's why this was put into place. And then fast forward 3 years, it's now March of 2023, the federal government is ending the extra emergency payments. So that last extra payment was awarded earlier this month, March 2nd. So how can we help people who are now like, what do I do? They're getting so much less than they have been for the last 3 years. And so there's a couple things that we can look at. So we can look at rent or mortgage increases. So if you've had any kind of changes with your
rent or mortgage or any housing costs, you can report that to the DTA, and that may help maximize your benefit. Of course, any income changes, if you've had a loss of income or your household has had a loss of income, that can potentially maximize your benefit. Child or adult care costs, so this would include like babysitters or transportation to daycares, daycare costs, and adult daycare costs. That can be reported as well. And then the big one, so to say, is the out-of-pocket medical expenses. So this is something we always ask anybody to dig deep and see if they have any out-of-pocket medical expenses that can be reported. So this would be like unpaid medical or dental bills, medication costs, co-pays for any medical usage, any specialist or doctor, over-the-counter medication, so this can include vitamins or any kind of over-the-counter like creams. So all of that, we try to remind people, can be used to try to maximize your benefit with the DTA. And this can be reported to them basically by using either copies of bills or receipts, or you can do a self-attestation letter to just let them know what you're paying each month. They also have a self-declaration form that we could help you find and fill out. So how to get these things and these reports to the DTA, that's where Amy and I can come in. I know a lot of barriers, or a lot of people have the barrier of getting online on the DTA Connect website. Sometimes it's just not working, or you don't have a computer, or you don't have access. So Amy and myself are able to sort of help with that and get you online, or if that doesn't work, we can fax it in, send it in, whatever it takes. So hopefully that will help. And then, of course, in the meantime, to add an extra supplemental for your nutrition, you can use the food pantry, which we talked a little bit about before, the loaves and fishes, and we have the delivery for that as well. So many ways to supplement your food. Any questions on that? It's all happening. It feels happening fast for people. It's like it's been 3 years, but it feels to
All of a sudden, it's like everybody got a real decrease.
Yeah, so we're just trying to help people, like, take it one step at a time. Let's look at all these different things. Has anything changed? Has anything decreased or increased? And how can we report that to the DTA to try to help their benefit? Other outreach, so it's kind of nearing the end of a few programs. Fuel assistance is sort of coming to an end in April. The application process for that. Medicare Advantage open enrollment is coming to the end in the end of March. And then, of course, Amy's upstairs calling vulnerable seniors for the snowstorm we're about to have in the middle of March. But otherwise, it's been sort of quiet. Sort of. Not really.
You don't sound very quiet when we walk through the halls up there. You're pretty busy.
Yes, we are. That's all I have.
What I think, while you're there, Sue and I did our highlights show this month, and we interviewed you.
Yes.
And basically, the interview was, we want to get as many people in the town knowledgeable of EHS and COA and what Amy and Alicia do. And so it's a half-hour program that we did, and she really explained everything in detail. And if you get a chance, please go on the website at the LCTV, and you can pull right up highlights for March 2nd, and it's all there. And it's so important, because even today, you're calling people because there's a storm. Nobody knows that unless we get it out there and let people know that we're here to do things like that. And that's why it's so important to get these shows up and running, so people know. I'm trying to get a hold of one of the selectmen to see how I can bring the show forward to the selectmen's meeting and talk about it, and they get a bigger response. There's more people that watch the selectmen's off meetings than probably the COA, and that would be a broader amount of people that could see what you're doing. and that it's, EHS is everybody, no matter what your age is or what you need. And I'll tell you, when I started on COA, I didn't know half of what goes on upstairs in that office. I learned a lot fast. And I think that's important to get out.
Alicia, I also think that Amy's not here, and Amy's support group that she does for the dementia support
Yeah.
is phenomenal. Last month, her person couldn't come, and Amy did the job, and she did a fabulous job. And I don't know how many people, you might read the book, the newsletter, but I'm not sure that it shouldn't be expanded, because I'm sure there aren't that many of us at the meeting, and I'm sure there are a lot more that have spouses or parents with dementia that this would be a big help to them.
Good. Thank you, everybody.
And I guess now we're on to the senior center project.
Do you have to vote the reports? Do you
Oh, we
need
have to vote on the reports. Can I have a motion to accept the director, assistant director, and outreach coordinator reports?
I'll move that we accept all the reports as stated.
Second?
All those in favor, Jean?
Yes. Yes.
Ann Lee?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
And David?
Yes.
Yeah, and Anita is yes. So it's unanimous. Lorelei is yes. Sorry, Lorelei, I forgot you. I apologize.
I know, she read.
I know, she wants us to hear her for sure. Okay. So Liz, you're up.
Okay, senior center update. So in your packet and up on the screen, I have our latest floor plans. I just wanted to walk everyone through it. Our last meeting with the architect and the OPM, which is the owner's project manager, Brian Fors, we focused on IT and audio-visual. So we had representatives from our information technology department and LCTV. We're trying to pre-plan everything, so everything we ever need is in this building, and we don't have to go back last minute and retrofit things. So some of the things that we went over, projector sizes, locations. Do we want a projector, or do we want TV screens that we can move around and be mobile? Web-based monitor displays all throughout the building, so we can constantly have a scroll of what activities are coming up, information you need to know, so upstairs, downstairs, in strategic locations. And then a lot of things that are far outside my scope of knowledge, like the wireless access points and where the camera should be and what's inside the AV closet, and Cat 6 and ports and things that we really needed to call the experts in on. So we really got down to the nitty-gritty on that. But let me also just walk you through the layout. So the first floor, let's see, is my mouse moving on the screen up here? All right, I'm going to point over to the vestibule. So this is the front door. We moved it over. The staircase used to be directly in the middle over here. And it was kind of visually blocking the hallway line of sight, and it also was very expensive in terms of millwork. So we moved it over and moved the front door over here, and now we have a more gracious lobby that's very open, and the reception desk area has a better line of sight down the hallway towards the study, to the front door, towards the bathrooms. So that was one of the major changes. The staircase at the far end of the building is no longer. Now there is an exit point here with a retaining wall. You can see my mouse moving in between the mechanical and the kitchen. We have excellent storage space here, because we know in this multi-purpose room, which is what I'm circling here, the side with the circle tables, that will mainly be set up as the senior diner most of the time, and we'll have the dividing wall down the middle. And then the other side will probably remain open for our larger fitness classes like Stretch and Flex. We won't have all these chairs and tables, but we do need a place to store all the chairs and tables. So they will be conveniently right across the hallway. And you'll notice right near the mechanical, we also have a little cable TV setup. So just like back here in the back of the room where Amber is now, we'll have a little touchdown spot for LCTV, so we can easily record and film and broadcast what's going on in the multipurpose room, whether we have a speaker or a big event that we want to share with the community. That will be there. The blue section is still the staff area, all the different outreach, veterans, director, little conference room, that has remained unchanged. Go to the second floor. Second floor, with the doing away of the staircase at the far end, we were able to enlarge the exercise room with the stationary equipment down here. So as you come up the staircase, there's another little seating area. You have your billiards room. We're putting a staff touchdown spot here where we can station a senior tax worker or a volunteer, just to make sure that there's always eyes on the second floor, because it is a little tricky to keep things when you have 2 floors. You want to have eyes upstairs and downstairs. So we were able to also add some larger storage closets to the 2 fitness rooms. And the rest has mainly been unchanged. Still have the men's room, women's room, janitor closet. This big X right here is the elevator bay. So right in the center. These other 2 rooms are what we would call program room 1 and 2, or whoever wants to sponsor the rooms and have their name put on it. That would be fantastic. But that's where we'll have like craft class or our art classes, lectures, groups, small groups, things like that.
Do you have sinks in those rooms?
We have sink in both of those rooms.
That's good.
Right here is one, and right here with the built-in counter and closets and cabinetry on both sides.
First, okay, storage.
Yes, that's the one thing I always hear from directors when I ask, what do you wish you did? Build more storage. So, trying to keep that in mind as we go through.
And there's 2 windows on each one of those rooms at the ends, right?
Yeah, so this is the second story, so it is all above ground. We go back to the first story. This thick line here, my mouse, this is underground. This is the back of the building here. Mainly why that's mechanical, electrical storage.
Right.
Things like that, bathrooms. Any questions, suggestions?
Have they talked about securing the building?
So our original plan was to put a pull-down gate right here. You can see my mouse moving. But due to the building codes, we weren't able to put a gate here. Similar to what the library has, where you can, it's based on the diameter, I think, and where the exit points are located if the dividing wall is pulled shut in the middle of the multipurpose room. So because we can't have a gate there, we talked about doing a key fob system for all of the areas, especially the rooms upstairs with the fitness equipment and the our supplies. So all of those doors will remain locked, and we'll have probably a pull-down gate by reception with a locked door. So client information and staff are separate.
So when and if a space is rented out or used by another department, will there be a staff person in the building, or will it be just open to whoever wants to use it?
We'll be handing off a key fob to whoever is
Okay.
signing out. I've started a small collection of other senior centers' room rental policies, just to try to see what other people are doing. Some people rent out their commercial kitchens on the weekends, and there's, a lot of cons and pros to doing that. Great revenue stream, but sometimes can be tricky logistically with hiring janitors or paying overtime for things like that. But, yeah, we'll have a policy in place. That was a long roundabout way to answer that question.
Have you set that policy yet?
I have not, no, I'd bring that here.
There's a lot of different facets of that.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
You could interview the library about ours.
That's right, you've had pros and cons,
So
and
let's just say it's an ongoing work of art.
Yep, I bet it is,
a
yeah.
lot of learning.
The ones I've seen from other senior centers are all over the board. All over the board. Yeah, so current time frame, breaking ground, August, plus or
August.
minus, let's keep our fingers crossed.
So is there actually a section of this on the floor that you really, really wish you could close off for when you're not there?
The staff area for personal information storage.
I guess that area, is that closed off for when nobody's there?
Yes.
They just lock
In
it?
perfect theory, everything is locked,
Right.
Yeah,
except for the 2 rooms that we,
right, the storage center, yeah.
I say that in perfect theory.
Exactly.
I understand that.
You know, when we help people fill out applications, we have a lot of personal information on file
Right.
sometimes. So I know our
Yeah.
outreach workers have locking filing cabinets, and we lock their door every night, and we'll carry that practice over. But extra layer of security is always good.
Because if this building is open when there's no staff, it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Do we have a projected finish time?
18 months from ground breaking.
18 months?
That's quite a while.
Goes really fast.
That's fast, yeah.
So when's the groundbreaking?
August plus or minus.
Plus or minus.
Oh, that's good. You got a date.
Oh, it's a lot closer than we were 2 years ago. You know, we're a lot closer than we were. It keeps getting more positive.
I can't wait.
We gotta take what we can get when we can get it, but it's a lot better than it was. We had no hope. Do we have any member updates?
I have one update.
Okay.
From the Middlesex Senior Services Board of Directors. This week, Wednesday, I will be attending an event in Acton, which is March. I have totally forgotten the name of it now. March on Meals. There we go. And it's
Okay.
It
You're
is-
gonna eat all over Acton, are you?
No, I'm going.
March for meals.
No, I'm not marching either. It's to bring awareness and support to the senior nutrition program. So Meals on Wheels and congregate dining and so forth. And all the legislators state legislators are invited to attend. They're having this same event at, I think it's 6 or 8 sites in the MSS region. And board of director members are expected to attend,
Good
at
for
least
you.
one. So
Good for you.
there I go.
You're gonna march and eat.
I'm, no. No, not gonna march. But anyway, it's in celebration of the senior nutrition program and Meals on Wheels and all of that.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we put out or Gail's Kitchen puts out about 5,100 meals a year
Wow.
for Meals on Wheels.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. They do a great job.
Does that include the soup and sandwich that she does, or that's just what goes out?
That's strictly Meals on Wheels,
What goes out?
out the door, yep.
Wow.
That does not count any of the breakfast, lunches, soup and sandwich.
About 100 meals a week.
I think it's something
20
like
meals a day?
48 active recipients in town of Meals on Wheels.
Every week?
5,000 meals
A year.
a year.
It's 100 meals a
52 weeks,
week.
it's almost 1,000, that's
Yeah, it's 100 meals
That's
a
a
week.
lot.
100 meals a week.
Yeah.
Some people, yeah. So you can choose what you want. You can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You could do just Tuesday, Wednesday. Some people get lunch and supper, so they get a cold meal and a hot meal, or they get weekend meals, so they get their 5 days plus 3 for the weekend of cold or frozen meals. It's a fantastic program. They really support a lot of people in town.
I didn't realize it was that big.
That's cool.
It is.
Thank you, Minuteman.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss today? Nothing?
Happy to hear Marge is doing well.
Marge is doing well. She did so well after her chemo and radiation. Today, when Kathy picked her up, she said, "Let's go to lunch."
I think that's great.
So that's a real positive. She hasn't really, other than getting tired, she hasn't been sick at all. She gets tired, but
Is she losing her hair?
she lost it.
She lost it.
Oh, now my best friend
Yeah, it's gone.
never lost any of it.
Yeah, oh no, her hair's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's using Sue's wig.
And now the whole world knows it.
She also uses mine, so whatever day it is, it doesn't matter. If there's no other important, oh, do we have any public input? Anybody on there that wants to talk to us?
How do you know?
This is Lorelei. On the agenda, we have the highlights cable show. I didn't know if we wanted to chat about that too.
Oh, yeah, you covered that when
I covered that when
Alicia.
Alicia was up. I covered the highlight show. But thank you for reminding me. And I don't know, do you, Joe, is there any, like, would it, having been a past selectman, can we like go to public input and say, you know, we've done this TV show highlighting the outreach and we'd like everybody to know about it? How would we present ourselves to the selectmen about that? Do we need a meeting or, I mean, an appointment or anything?
You want to get it on their agenda?
I just want to make everybody aware that's watching the selectmen's meeting that this TV program is available for them to go out and watch.
I would just tell Anthony, and he'll make sure that it gets announced. Either he'll do it or one of the members will do it.
Okay. Okey-doke.
Okay.
All right, well, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn
So moved?
at 4:15.
That one says 3:50.
Well, I know, we just started, and I don't want to do it again. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, Jean,
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Ann Lee?
Yes?
Sue?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Lorelei?
Yes.
And Anita is a yes. We're adjourned.
All right.